Garrett, kind of an off-point question. I was talking to Aaron Boone this morning about the resurgence of Giancarlo Stanton, how he's gotten his act together. He's healthy. He's hitting the laser shots. Um, I'm just wondering, as a teammate, what is it like to see him when he's locked in this way? And as a pitcher, you ever think to yourself, "I'm glad I don't have to pitch to Stanton right now the way he's hitting"?
Yeah, I mean, beyond the threat of him hitting it over a fence, he can also hit it right back at you, whether he's hot or not. So that's one of the most uncomfortable at bats I've had to pitch against. I think right now, obviously, he's on a pretty nice run, but I feel like he's kind of walked into this pretty sustainably. I don't see like a whole lot of luck. I just see like a whole lot of really good swings and really good approaches. And even on days when doesn't get a lot of hits, it's funny. Like we kind of, I used a couple words to describe him, like get his act together and stuff like that. And, he's obviously had some challenges with the injury bug, but if you look at the guy's back of the baseball card, I don't think he's put a season up where he has an OPS under 815, which is like 30% above the league average for the entirety of his career. So nice to see him being himself and being consistent.
Well, if I can just follow up on that, despite those numbers, I mean, before you got here, he was not very popular with the fans. He struggled and he got booed a lot. What is it about him? And he seemed to be impervious to it. I mean, he just did not seem to let it bother him. He just waited it out, and here he is now. What is it about Giancarlo, you think, that allowed him to get through those rough times without being traumatized by it?
I think he's a true pro. And I think he just, when, the situation gets big, he tries to control what he can control and stay within himself. And when the situation is not ideal and people are letting you have it, I think he just goes back to the same process. He's been around the league for a long time, and I think he leans on a lot of his experience, whether he's in a good situation or a bad situation. And so, no one better to be hitting in the 4-hole than somebody that's been battle tested in that regard as well.
We can go next to Swing Liberty.
Hey, Gerrit, two things for you. One about you and your last outing. First inning, you had a play where you had to cover first. I'm just wondering if it just felt natural to you because of the hamstring, if you felt restricted in any way, if you're kind of like, who got through that kind of thing, any of that?
No, it just feels a little weird to run with the big wrap on, but I just reacted naturally. So
is that going to be normal, like to keep it wrapped the rest of the way here, you think?
No, should be good to go.
Okay. The other thing I had for you was you were once a young pitcher coming up in a pennant race, and the pressure of those games. You've got Luis Heel today, Nestor Cortez, Clark Schmidt, these guys who are in this situation for the first time. What's your advice to them on how to handle this, having gone through it yourself?
Trust your teammates, don't try to be a hero. The adrenaline that you get, anticipate it, and, know that regardless if you are trying to suppress that excitement or that extra juice or not, it's going to affect the way you move and affect how you throw, and controlling it can yield you really positive results. But I enjoyed this time of the year the most. And that's, always been true for my career. Just, every pitch matters so much. And so there's just, you have no choice but to just be in the moment so much, and it slows down. And so, But you can't do it all by yourself. You're going to have an amazing play. In the postseason, people are going to be hitting balls harder than in the regular season because everybody's hot. And, there's going to have some good fortune going to go your way. And at the same time, your offense is going to have to back you up too in certain situations, especially against good pitchers, because it's just, it is what it is. You got to play well, but don't try to be a hero. Just control what you can control.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you mean by don't try to be a hero?
I mean, the game is not all in your control as any one player. So it's it's a team effort. If you need to give up a 1 to keep the pitch count down, you need to give up a 1. If you need a hold and you need to burn 30, you got to burn 30. And you got to get it done. And so what if you don't go deep that day? That's what the bullpen's for, and they're going to have to do their job. Somebody's going to end up having to do their job to win the game, and it's going to have to be more than one person. So, and the moment can kind of, make you feel like you want to maybe do too much, and sometimes just doing the same thing you always do and just executing the pitch, and sometimes letting the hitter get himself out in a situation like that. Can yield just as good results as executing the perfect pitch or dominating a guy.
Thank you, Gerrit.
Pete Caldera, you have the next question.
Gerrit, just from a personal standpoint, how deeply do you look into the rest of the regular season here in your preparation and see where you could potentially make 2 more starts on regular rest after this, and if the stars align, move into a playoff game? Is that a top of mind thought right now?
No, Cleveland's pretty much the only thought right now. It's just too important. You just get locked into I don't even know if it's a conscious thing. It's just, you just get focused. You have no choice. And it just, the dynamic around here, helps. Right? Everyone else is doing the same thing, and we're just trying to win one game and get to the next one.
Go next to Joel Sherman.
Gerrit, I suppose you probably answered this by talking about narrowing it to a game and not being a hero, but with so few games left and such a need to win the games, I wonder what responsibility you feel. You probably have 3 starts left if it works out perfectly. And there's probably no 3 games that the Yankees would probably earmark that's a game we have to win just because you're who you are on this team. What is that burden? What is that responsibility to you in kind of these must-win situations with a handful of games left and just 3 starts left?
I mean, I kind of think it's fun. If you get into October, the games are going to be the same way. The mentality is going to be the same way. So, it's just, you can challenge yourself to rise to the occasion. And again, that's not trying to do too much. That's just trying to find the sweet spot. But we all owe it to ourselves to just take it one game at a time and not get ahead of ourselves. We've put a lot of, we'd like to be in a better position than we are, but we put a lot of work to be in this position with the opportunity that we have. And if we continue to play the way that we should, we should be pretty satisfied with how it all plays out getting into the postseason. And then, again, having to repeat what we're doing right now, which is go one game at a time to advance. So, I don't look at it as, I think we should win every game that I try to win every game that I pitch. That's not any different than what I normally do. But at the same time, even if we win every game that I pitch and we lose all the other games, we're not going to make it. So we got to do it as a team. Other people are going to have to pitch well. People are going to have to play good defense. So it's just, we have no choice but to play really good baseball, and that's, the stakes are high, and that's fun.
Thank you.